Ladies and gentlemen and friends and our fellow traders, welcome to our FNOP Charcha on how to trade close to expiry with PRAFUL KULKARNI. The PRAFUL is a full-time options trader and he will be sharing his insights on this topic today. Along with PRAFUL, we have Peter and Manas, who are our co-hosts along with me. And today, welcome PRAFUL to our show.
Thank you, Sankar, for having me. So first of all, this is a very great initiative because whatever there is about trading on social media, it's all kind of, a lot of misinformations out there. A lot of people try to paint the rosy picture about trading. Yes, trading, I agree that trading could be a very lucrative career, and it is. But at the same time, it's not all rosy, right? So it comes with its own set of risks associated with it. So Paytm Money is doing a great job, trying to educate the masses, calling the real traders and asking their real life experiences and trying to get some amount of insights from them. So great job going on because I've listened to some of your Twitter spaces and they are like quite informative.
Thank you, PRAFUL. PRAFUL, before we get into the strategy, first let us know how you actually started your trading journey.
I mean, it's pretty much the same story as everyone, right? Like you always have either your colleagues or your friends, introducing you to the world of trading. So first of all, my family, even now, even now, most of my family members, they save their money in fixed deposits. They don't even have a mutual fund account. So as family, I had zero exposure to the trading world. So but I used to be good with these probabilities, and I used to play a lot of these card games even during college, and even when I was working I used to be a frequent visitor of these casinos and all that. So I was slightly inclined towards probabilities, asymmetric risk rewards and stuff like that. And one day I saw one of my colleagues scrolling through the charts. तो पहली बार जब मैंने देखा, मैंने सोचा कि कुछ उसका ईसीजी का कुछ रिपोर्ट देख रहा है. मैंने सोचा छोड़ो यार, पर्सनल बात है, क्यों पूछना. बट देन आई watched him. I mean, then I saw him, doing the same thing a couple of more times, and then I asked him what is this. So then he used to be an investor. He was not a trader. And then he told me, okay, these are charts, these are shares. Like I buy and I hold, and after some days, after some months, I sell, making a profit and stuff like that. So that's how I got into trading. And then right after that, I think within next 2 days or something, I opened my demat account, transferred some money, and bought some shares. And वहाँ पे थोड़ा मतलब बुल मार्केट चल रहा था तो थोड़ा बहुत प्रॉफिट हो गया. एंड विद इन लाइक 1 month I started dabbling into options, and within next 1 week I started buying these cheap far OTM options in large quantities. मतलब 2 रुपए का option buy करना and then selling them at 4 rupees or 5 rupees. If usually beginners luck होता ही है. And then I made some profits in that, and after that the luck also starts to fade away. And then the actual learning started, and then I saw the potential in the markets, and I saw that okay, fine, this is something I could do for a long period of time because this is what aligns with my interest also. And that's how I got into trading.
Wow, super.
That's an amazing journey.
Amazing journey. I have seen like many traders in my life. The mostly क्या होता है कि एक तो पार्ट टाइम ट्रेडर होता है, तो कभी कभी ट्रेड करेगा. दूसरा तरीका होता है कि फुल टाइम ट्रेडर को ब्रेड एंड बटर बनता है ट्रेडिंग से. दे यूजुअली ट्रेड एवरी डे, एंड ओनली आई हैव सीन लाइक मंथली एक्सपायरी होने के बाद फ्राइडे ट्रेड नहीं करते, बट अदर ऑल द एक्सपायरीज एंड आफ्टर फ्राइडेज आल्सो दे आर ट्रेडिंग. And I think you are the only person I have met. Someone is something different way you are trading. So let's move to our today's topic: how to trade close to expiry. अभी कैसा हम लोग ट्रेड कर सकते हैं? ये चीज आपने पहले से ऐसे ही कर रहे थे कि क्लोज टू एक्सपायरी ट्रेड कर रहे थे, पहले ही कर मींस फुल टाइम कर रहे थे, बाद में आपने कोई स्ट्रेटजी देखा एंड यू फाउंड दैट इट इज मोर प्रॉफिटेबल टू ट्रेड नियर टू एक्सपायरी. ये कैसा आपका जर्नी स्टार्ट हो गया इसके साथ?
So when I started trading full time, I understood that okay, option selling में थोड़ा बहुत edge रहता है, and positional में usually that was a time when lot of not many people were into option selling. So I started off as a positional option seller, and I used to be non-directional. Directional bets लेता नहीं था because by nature I'm not a trend follower. ठीक है, मतलब a lot of people say that मतलब you have to catch the trend is your friend and all that, but trend following is one of the toughest things that anyone could do, because trend followings में जो होता है, you should have that superhuman capacity to hold on to your winners, and you should have that mental fortitude to sit through long periods of drawdown. मतलब रिजल्ट अच्छा मिलता है, बट ट्रेंड फॉलोइंग सबकी बस की नहीं है, मेरी बस की तो नहीं है. So that is why I always started as I started as a positional non-directional option seller, and after that, because of the gaps and because of the non-availability of this option to disengage from the market. अगर आप positional option seller हैं, तो अगर आप Friday को आप positions open करते हैं, तो you don't have any option but to engage with the markets throughout the week. And even after market closes also, you'll be like little anxious about, okay, what the world market is doing, what Dow is doing, what S&P 500 is doing, kahan pe kya ho raha hai. So then I thought that, okay, non-directional is my, it fits my trading, I mean, it fits my psychology, it fits my nature, it fits my personality. So why not replicate the same thing on intraday? So intraday pe aaya, and then I started doing straddles. तो यूजुअली जो भी लोग मतलब स्ट्रैडल पे आते हैं, नाउ दे आर ऑल डूइंग 920 स्ट्रैडल और समथिंग. बट जब मैं स्ट्रैडल करता था, इट वाज अ बिट ऑफ अ डिफरेंट अप्रोच. वहां पे मतलब मैं, बिकॉज आई कांट सिट ऑन अ सिंगल लेग, एक साइड का स्टॉप लॉस हिट हो गया तो दूसरा साइड को मतलब मैं ट्रेल करता चलूंगा, बिकॉज अगेन दैट बिकम्स ट्रेंड फॉलोइंग, राइट. तो मैं कैसे करता था, तो एज लॉन्ग एज आई यूज्ड टू फॉर्म रेंजेस, एंड देन आई यूज्ड टू sit on a particular straddle till that range is breached, and then let's say market वो range को breach करके दूसरा range पे enter किया, then I used to switch my straddle. So ऐसे कर करके I used to be doing that. But the problem with straddle is that you end up paying a lot of charges. So then I started trading a little out of the money options and like that. तो एक्सपायरी डे के आसपास में कब शुरू किया, दैट इज बिकॉज आफ्टर वंस यू स्टार्ट ट्रेडिंग मोर एंड मोर, यू अंडरस्टैंड दैट ओके, लेट्स से ओवर लाइक 200-250 ट्रेड्स, अगर आपका 50 एक्सपायरी भी निकालोगे, बाकी 200 दिन तो आपका मतलब जितना प्रॉफिट आता है थोड़ा लॉस भी होता है, तो द गेन्स दैट यू मेक आर नॉट दैट सिग्निफिकेंट फॉर यू टू पुट इन एफर्ट्स एंड ट्रेड ऑन अ डेली बेसिस. सो 80-20 रूल बोलते हैं ना, तो जस्ट डू 20% ऑफ द थिंग्स विच यील्ड 80% ऑफ द रिजल्ट. सो एक्सपायरी डे पे मोस्टली हमारा जो प्रॉफिट्स आता है वो ठीक ठाक आता है, बाकी सारे दिन हाँ कभी प्रॉफिट होता है कभी नहीं होता है. सो मोस्ट ऑफ द गेन्स दैट वी मेक आर ऑन एक्सपायरी डे. सो that's how I transitioned into just trading more on expiry dates. I don't say that like I don't trade at all, because today I took a trade. I took a 0.5%, not 0.5%, 0.3%, 0.4% hit today. But that's the जब भी मतलब लगता है कि आज अपॉर्चुनिटी है, तब मैं मतलब बाकी दिन ट्रेड करता हूँ, वरना थर्सडे एंड वेंसडे.
ओके, वंडरफुल. सो आपने बोला कि लाइक यू trade in straddle or strangle. So generally you don't cut off your losses. You take trades in straddle only. You don't take a single leg strategy, right? Otherwise it's like trend following.
Yes, yes.
So हाँ, ये पूछना था कि like आप which index में आप ट्रेड करते हैं, निफ्टी या बैंक निफ्टी?
I trade only in Nifty. Before I used to trade in Bank Nifty, but 2-3 बार मेरे को ऐसे experiences हो गए कि whenever there is a huge sudden fall, तो usually Bank Nifty पे sometimes there is a good possibility that your stop loss also gets jumped. Big jumps होते हैं, and sometimes Bank Nifty also used to manage Nifty. तो आप देखे रहेंगे कि एक्सपायरी डे पे निफ्टी को अगर पर्टिकुलर जगह पे एक्सपायर करना है, तो देन दे यूज बैंक निफ्टी टू डू दैट. सो बैंक निफ्टी लास्ट में 200-300 पॉइंट्स पे मूव कर लेता है. So I thought, okay, since I'm managing the delta, then the index should be a little manageable. मतलब इतना भी मतलब वाइल्ड होना नहीं चाहिए कि 5 मिनट में 300-400 पॉइंट का मूव आ जाए. So that's why I trade in Nifty options.
Okay, got it. So हाँ, और next आप एक ये समझा सकते हैं like कि how do you choose, like you trade mostly one day before expiry. So like how do you choose the strikes? Which strikes to choose? कितना ऊपर लेना है? By giving one example, like can you explain?
The approach that I take on a Wednesday is different, and the approach that I take on Thursday is different. So Wednesday पे कैसे रहता है? So usually I choose somewhere around. Usually I go by premiums. Okay, it might be, for example, let's say we are in a 25 weeks environment. जब हमारा जो रशियन यूक्रेन वॉर के टाइम पे हम लोग 30 weeks तक भी पहुंचे थे, तब even on a Wednesday, even for a 400 point away call and 400 point away puts on a Wednesday morning, they'll be available at 25-30 rupees. But when we are trading at a VIX levels of let's say 15 or something, so that ₹20 ₹30 का ऑप्शंस आपको सिर्फ 150 पॉइंट्स 200 पॉइंट्स पे मिलता है. So the premiums that you get and the spot and the distance from which your strikes are from the spot are equally correlated to the expected volatility of the market. अगर मार्केट में volatility ज्यादा expected है तो दूर का ऑप्शंस भी मतलब हमको थोड़ा ज्यादा प्रीमियम मिलता है दूर का स्ट्राइक्स पे भी. So अगर the expected volatility itself is less, then I go with the same this thing, because sometimes what happens, sometimes even on a Monday the options are very low. So that day the expected volatility, if the expected volatility is lower than what the realized volatility is, then you end up in losses. But I take that risk on Wednesday and Thursday. अगर मान लो अगर मार्केट में ज्यादा volatility स्टार्ट भी हो गई, द थीटा डी के कंपोनेंट इज स्लाइटली ऑन द हायर साइड, मतलब थोड़ा ठीक ठाक कॉम्पेंसेशन मिल जाता है. So the strikes based mostly I select is 20 to 25 rupees on a Wednesday, and even on Thursday I try to sit on 15 to 20 rupee options.
Okay, that's great. So, do you refer to news, or do you look at mostly VIX and then decide?
Even I think none, because news देख के हम मेरे को तो I don't have that caliber to expect the market's movement based on the news, because न्यूज में अगर पॉजिटिव भी आता है sometimes the market gets sold into. अगर एक नेगेटिव न्यूज भी आता है the market might have already factored that and the market might see some short covering. So न्यूज देख के तो मैं ट्रेड नहीं करता हूँ, first thing. And the second thing is even VIX also, the VIX, if you know how the VIX is calculated, the close dated options का जो weightage रहता है VIX calculation में, it's very small. So when you trade on Wednesdays and Thursdays, even you don't even have to look at VIX, because जो भी होगा Thursday के दिन सारे far OTM options zero होना चाहिए. Right? For example, let's say even if market tanks 500
Right.
points on the expiry day, तो OTM call तो zero ही होना है, OTM put भी zero ही होना है.
Right.
So both VIX and news, I don't think that has much importance in my trading.
ग्रेट. प्रफुल, थोड़ा सा ये टॉपिक से हटके मैं आपको एक क्वेश्चन पूछना चाहता हूँ आपको. एक फुल टाइम ट्रेडर होता है तो उसके एक एंड एवरी मंथ एक टारगेट रहता है कि मुझे इसमें ब्रेड एंड बटर बन रहा है तो मुझे एक 5% और 6% और मोर मुझे मंथली आना चाहिए, राइट? तो आप 2 दिन ट्रेड करता है, इसको कैसा आप मैनेज करता है कि आपको एंड ऑफ द मींस, फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज आप मंथली कितना परसेंटेज आप एक्सपेक्ट करता है ट्रेडिंग से, एंड दूसरा आप कैसा मैनेज करता है कि इतना परसेंटेज अचीव करने के लिए ओनली 2 days पर वीक, मींस आप मे बी इन ए वीक ऑफ 8 दिन कुछ तो ट्रेड कर रहे हैं, राइट?
Mostly.
Yeah. So how do you achieve your targets?
मेरा कैलकुलेशन ऐसे रहता है, एवरी एक्सपायरी आई गो इन विद अ टारगेट ऑफ अराउंड 2.5 to 3%. Okay, so when I start talking about the expiry, you'll understand that okay, 2.5 to 3% is not such a great thing to achieve. I mean, इतना भी मतलब hard नहीं है. तो I go with 2.5%. कभी कभी executional mistakes हो जाता है, and कभी कभी even the adjustments will backfire. Sometimes the options will spike in between. Sometimes you end up only making 1%. Sometimes you end up flat. Sometimes you make 2-3%. So overall, even if you get 2 out of 4 expiries right, ओके वहां पे आपको 5% मिल जाता है. आपको even by trading only on expiries, even if you get just 2 expiries right out of 4 expiries, and if you manage to not take a big hit on the losing expiries, usually losing expiries मतलब मेरा, if I end cost to cost or even if I make less than 0.5% or something, I call it a losing expiry, because कुछ खास outcome आया नहीं expiry से. So even if you just get 2 expiries right, 2% expiries भी मिल जाता है, then you are already there 4%. And then Wednesday आता है, Wednesday also even Wednesday को मैं 1% टारगेट लेके चलता हूँ. तो 1% usually टारगेट मतलब the position size and all the factors that all culminate into that 1% पे, मतलब it is the ideal thing to target. तो 1% अगर even if you get 2 Wednesdays right, you get 2 Wednesdays out of 4 Wednesdays right, Wednesday से 2% जनरेट हो जाता है. So I think achieving around 6 to 8% shouldn't be that hard, even by trading only on Wednesdays and Thursdays.
So other days of the week, आप कनेक्टेड रहता है कि मार्केट में नहीं, थोड़ा कनेक्टेड रहता है और दूसरा कुछ करता है, आप करता क्या है वो मींस, बाकी तो आपके पास काफी दिन है वो ऐसा ही. So what you do on those days? Are you like
I do
reading some more studies or strategies?
Yes, I mean some of the times we build like different strategies because हम लोग algorithm भी run करते हैं clients accounts पे. तो उसको मतलब हम लोग better करते रहते हैं. We'll be building some infrastructure and we'll be trying to improvise on some strategies or something. So ऐसे नहीं कि मतलब मैं market से बिल्कुल disconnected रहता हूँ. The algorithms will be running and it's just that I'll be just ऐसे एक ऊपर से मतलब एक मॉनिटरिंग चलती रहती है एंड लेट्स से लाइक इफ समथिंग अनयूजुअल हैपेंस इन द मार्केट और समथिंग सो आई विल टेक अ नोट ऑफ दैट एंड आई विल सी ओके तो मार्केट डायनामिक्स थोड़ा चेंज हो रहा है समथिंग लाइक दैट एंड इफ आई फाइंड एनी अपॉर्चुनिटीज इवन आई विल ओपन सम स्मॉल पोजीशंस ऑन अदर डेज आल्सो.
That's
Okay,
great.
okay, wonderful. So, I had one question. Like once you enter into position and your views go wrong, stop loss gets set. You must be adjusting your strikes and positions, right? So, how do you go about adjusting those in intraday if the trade goes wrong, and how do you adjust so that you remain profitable?
I think on every given day, okay, हर रोज I think I go wrong at least 2 or 3 times minimum. ओके सो मेरा जो डायरेक्शनल बायस रहता है मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स द मार्केट चॉप्स यू आउट. इतना क्लियर ट्रेंड तो मिलता नहीं है एंड इवन इफ द क्लियर ट्रेंड गेट्स एस्टैब्लिश्ड वी शुड आल्सो आई मीन एज अ नॉन डायरेक्शनल ट्रेडर आपका दोनों लेग्स ओपन रहता है. इवन इफ यू गेट अ ट्रेंड एंड इवन इफ योर ट्रेंड इज राइट यू हैव टू मेक श्योर दैट द ऑप्शन टुवर्ड्स विच द मार्केट इज ट्रेंडिंग दैट शुड नॉट स्पाइक मोर देन द ऑप्शन विच इज गिविंग यू डीके. तो वो भी देखना पड़ता है. ऑप्शन प्रीमियम बिहेवियर को भी देखना पड़ता है इवन इफ योर ट्रेंड इज राइट. तो मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स मेरा डायरेक्शनल बायस मतलब गलत होता है बट मेरा फोकस क्या रहता है स्पेशली ऑन एक्सपायरीज. my focus is to maintain my mark to market as stable as possible because let's say you're in a drawdown of 1% at 2 p.m. on an expiry, so 3:30 p.m. ke baad you can still recover entire 1% loss and still end up with 1.5% profit. Okay, so my focus on the expiry day is to keep my mark to market as stable as possible. कैसे stable रखना है? Because I'm a non-directional trader, तो usually market को एक डायरेक्शन में मूवमेंट करता है तो थोड़ा बहुत कॉम्पेंसेशन अदर साइड से मिलता ही है. So I have to maintain that mark to market stable by observing the premium behavior. For example, let's say the market is tanking, the market is coming down. So there might be times when calls will not lose as much as the puts gain. So you have to observe this and you have to position yourself in such a way that your call credit are slightly higher than the put credit. Or for example, let's say the market is moving higher and you're expecting some sort of a short covering or a gamma spike or something, then you have to uh, position yourself in such a way that वो gamma spike पे the market should not take you away. तुमको मतलब आपको ट्रेड से पुश नहीं करना चाहिए. सो हैव टू पोजीशन योरसेल्फ इन सच अ वे दैट योर मार्क टू मार्केट इज रिलेटिवली स्टेबल. मतलब मैं ये नहीं बोल रहा हूँ कि आपका मार्क टू मार्केट कभी डिप नहीं हो सकता, होगा डिप, बट एज मच एज पॉसिबल माई जॉब इज टू कीप माई मार्क टू मार्केट स्टेबल बाय हुक और क्रुक. सो बेसिकली मैं टेक्निकल्स को ऑलमोस्ट नील के बराबर में इंपॉर्टेंस देता हूँ. इतना ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंस देता है नहीं बिकॉज if you look at the markets nowadays, a lot of people are doing expiry strategies and option selling strategies and stuff like that. So throughout the day, traps get set up at different points. तो यूजुअली कैसा होता है, एक फेक ब्रेकआउट आता है, फेक ब्रेकडाउन आता है, देन एक पुल बैक आता है, देन ऑप्शंस भी सडनली द ऑप्शंस विल डबल एंड देन दे गेट हाफ विद इन लाइक 5 minutes. तो वी बीन सीइंग दैट टाइम एंड अगेन. तो मेरा मेजर ये रहता है रिस्क मैनेजमेंट. तो अगर मेरा मार्क टू मार्केट स्लाइड हो रहा है, इट मीन्स दैट वन ऑप्शन इज नॉट एबल टू कॉम्पेंसेट द अदर. सो आई डू एवरीथिंग टू मेंटेन माई मार्क टू मार्केट स्टेबल. बाकी जो वेटेज है, थोड़ा बहुत वेटेज है, थोड़ा बहुत प्राइस एक्शन को देता हूँ, थोड़ा बहुत ओपन इंटरेस्ट को देता हूँ, बट इट्स वेरी मिनिमलिस्टिक. तो मेरा फोकस है मार्क टू मार्केट को स्टेबल रखो.
So how do you do that? Actually, like if you see, these strategies are mostly delta neutral strategies. Now, as per you, you are doing premium wise delta neutral. Now, let's say the market is moving up in one way. So will you step up your strategy along with that? So upar chal ke?
It depends because let's say
So how would you do that?
if the market is going higher, okay, you have to see that how far the market can go, and if at all it reverses. So let's say like you have a 100 point away call and a 100 point away put, and let's say the market moved up by around 30 points or 35 points or 40 points. Now you have two options: either you can take that call away to the next level or you can push the puts away by one strike. So I need to observe, okay, if the market reverses, will I be able to take that put spike and again handle that? So if the answer is yes, then I'll move my setup to higher level as closer and closer to the market. But if I feel that okay, now that the puts have lost a lot of value, it doesn't make sense to take additional premium credit from the put side by moving higher, then basically I'll take the risk away. मतलब कॉल्स का जो है कॉल स्ट्राइक को मैं थोड़ा दूर शिफ्ट कर दूंगा इंस्टेड ऑफ कमिंग क्लोजर फ्रॉम द पुट साइड. So दो ही एडजस्टमेंट है, तो यूजुअली दो एडजस्टमेंट रहता है, इधर you take the losing leg and you move it away, or you push the winning leg closer.
Right. That was quite nice. You actually move, and sometimes when you see that there's not much of premium left, then you actually square it off one side. Okay.
No. I don't square it off. For example, let's say I'm at a 17,500 call and I'm at a 17,300 put on an expiry day, and the market has already come to 17,450. Okay, I'll push my puts up to 17,400, and after that I won't be comfortable pushing the puts higher, because तब क्या हो जाता है, I'm very close to the markets and the mark to market fluctuation will be very high. तो तब मैं क्या करूंगा, at one point I have to say that okay, even though I have conviction that okay 17,500 won't be breached, I'll still take that 17,500 calls and I'll push it to 17,550. I know that 17,500 पे open interest ज्यादा है, 17,500 पे एक strong resistance है, market वहाँ पलट सकता है, but still my focus is to maintain my mark to market stable. I can do that either by pushing the puts up or by taking the calls away. So when will I push the puts up? When there is an IV spike, or when let's say gamma spike type हो गया. For example, for no reason this 10 rupee का call option is trading at 16 rupees, but put options haven't lost any value. So this is the place where I can say okay, put options तो अभी तक value lose नहीं किया है, so I can take some additional risk, because अगर reverse भी होता है तो उतना put option spike नहीं होता है.
Right.
But when the put options have also lost into the delta, then it's not a great idea to take additional premium from the winning leg. When the when the when the premiums have not collapsed with the delta, that is when you take additional premium.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. So, Praful, I want to understand more about your strategy and also how you enter the market. For example, Wednesday and Thursday you are trading. आप straddle and strangle कर रहे हैं. Mostly you are going in strangle. So थोड़ा सा आप मुझे और थोड़ा explain कीजिए कि आप if you're more comfortable then how you enter the market. सब quantity आप एक ही बार enter करता है क्या Wednesday और Thursday क्या करता है full quantity enter और partially आप थोड़ा थोड़ा market देके enter करता है और how you adjust and how you define the strike. मुझे Wednesday कौन सा strike को लेना है और इसको mostly आप premium के ऊपर कर रहे हैं उसको थोड़ा और एक थोड़ा सा explain कीजिए so it will help our audience I think.
Okay.
And
so
also with stop loss, what stop loss you keep? Yeah.
Okay. I'll explain it in two parts. We'll take Wednesday separately and we'll take Thursday separately, because both of these days have to be dealt a little differently, or at least I deal differently in both these days. So Wednesday I trade half quantity initially. I enter half quantity, and usually क्या रहता है, Wednesday morning from Tuesday overnight to Wednesday morning there will be a significant decay. Premium almost collapse हो चुके रहता है. So whenever there is a delta move on a particular side, that side premium starts to expand. So that is the place where whenever I feel that okay, now the premiums have shot up a little, so I add more quantities. So basically it's kind of averaging. Buying पे लोग average करते हैं ना, 100 पे call एक stock को buy किए, when it dips to 80 rupees you buy again, when it dips to 60 rupees you buy again. So similar approach in option selling. तो क्या है, shares में क्या रहता है, okay bro, at one or the other point this share has to move back up, so I'm using this dip to add additional quantity. Similarly on Wednesday मुझे पता है कि towards the end of the day all these option premiums which have spiked they have to lose their value. तो इसलिए every rise I'll use that opportunity to sell additional quantity. तो Wednesday पे कैसे रहता है, Wednesday I'm expecting IV spike at one point throughout the day. कम से कम एक बार तो मतलब IV spike आना चाहिए थ्रू आउट द डे. सो पहले हाफ क्वांटिटी में एंटर करता हूँ, यूजुअली ऑन द स्ट्राइक्स वेयर 30 रुपीज प्रीमियम रहता है, बिकॉज आइडिया ये रहता है कि 30 प्रीमियम जो है बाय द एंड ऑफ द डे एज अ थंब रूल जो भी प्रीमियम्स अवेलेबल है ऑन अ वेंसडे मॉर्निंग, सो दे हैव टू lose 50% of their value. OTM options. For example, call option 30 rupees hai, put option 30 rupees hai. Towards the end of the day, they both should be trading at 15 and 15. So total हमको 30 rupees का DK मतलब potential है. इसमें हमको रियलाइज्ड डीके जो होता है, यूजुअली वोलेटिलिटी क्रश होती है, वोलेटिलिटी डीके जो होता है, जो भी मतलब होता है 100% हम कैप्चर नहीं कर सकते बिकॉज वी लूज सम अमाउंट इन डेल्टा एडजस्टमेंट्स. डेल्टा एडजस्टमेंट हम करते हैं, उसमें थोड़ा मतलब लॉसेस हो जाता है. सो इन आउट ऑफ दिस 30 पॉइंट डीके दैट द मार्केट हैज टू ऑफर, इवन इफ यू कैप्चर 20 पॉइंट्स, यू आर गोल्डन. सो इसको कैसे कैप्चर करते हैं? सो फर्स्ट हाफ क्वांटिटी जाते हैं. व्हेनेवर देयर इज एन आईवी स्पाइक, वील push in additional थोड़ा बहुत quantities करते हैं, and then we'll push in थोड़ा बहुत quantities. So that way we know that we have some money to average out. So this is my approach on Wednesday. तो Wednesday का मतलब फंडा क्या है? जो भी options है, call option है and put option है, whatever the strangle is worth, so it has to lose around 50% value. थंब रूल मतलब हो सकता है कभी 40% लूज हो जाए, हो सकता है कभी सिर्फ 30% लूज हो जाए. फॉर एग्जांपल व्हेन देयर इज एन आरबीआई पॉलिसी द नेक्स्ट थर्सडे, आई मीन थर्सडे की नेक्स्ट डे आरबीआई पॉलिसी है या कुछ यूएस में कुछ फेड मीट है, सो इफ एन इवेंट इज एक्सपेक्टेड देन प्रोबेबली द प्रीमियम्स माइट नॉट लूज दैट मच, बट देयर विल बी लॉस ऑफ प्रीमियम्स ऑन वेंसडेज. आई मीन फॉर एग्जांपल आज का प्राइस एक्शन लोगे तो द स्ट्रैडल विच ओपनड एट 290 रुपीज क्लोज्ड एट 300 रुपीज टुडे. Right, because of increase in volatility on non-expiry days, I mean expiry से दूर जाते हैं like Friday, Monday and Tuesday, there is a possibility that there can be zero realized theta decay. But on Wednesday and Thursday, no matter what, there will be some amount of realized theta decay. So that is why we average out. मतलब जब भी मतलब IV spike मिलता है, we try to push in additional quantities at better prices, so that when that volatility contracts, whenever that volatility crush that happens, that's when like you realize a really fast good theta decay that you'll get. तो Wednesday को ऐसे खेलते हैं. When it comes to Thursday, double everything. तो यहाँ पे जो options 50% lose होता है, वहाँ पे 100% lose होना है. All the OTM options have to invariably go to zero. So यहाँ पे मैं क्या करता हूँ? Usually I enter my entire quantity in the morning itself. मतलब usually मैं फिर से मतलब मैं करने के लिए फिर से ऐड करने के लिए मैं कुछ बचाता नहीं हूँ. आई एंटर ऑल माई क्वांटिटीज इन द मॉर्निंग एंड आई मैनेज इट. बिकॉज यूजुअली थर्सडे पे कैसा रहता है, आईवी स्पाइक होता है तो भी ना विद इन 15 मिनट्स दैट आईवी स्पाइक हैज टू कूल ऑफ, जनरली स्पीकिंग. कभी कभी वी हैव सीन दैट आईवी स्पाइक इज प्रोलॉन्ग्ड आईवी स्पाइक होती है फॉर 1.5 2 hours तक भी मतलब रहता है, बट टुवर्ड्स द एंड ऑल द ओटीएम ऑप्शंस हैव टू इनवेरिएबली गो टू जीरो. तो हम लोग मैनेज कर सकते हैं इवन विथ फुल क्वांटिटी. सो थर्सडे के दिन आई एंटर ऑल द क्वांटिटीज इन द मॉर्निंग इटसेल्फ, एंड वेंसडे के दिन आई एंटर इफ आई गेट एन आईवी स्पाइक अपॉर्चुनिटी.
Yeah, that's great. It was nice. Awesome. Yeah, go ahead, Shankar.
Yes. So आपने बोला कि आप सुबह ही कर लेते हो थर्सडे. So Thursday, by what time do you complete it? Do you complete it by 9:30 or do you complete your taking your positions by 10 in the morning? Because I think 10 तक पहुंचते तो already cool off हो जाता है. So by between 9:15 to 9:30, do you take your positions that time? And mostly
Yes,
are they limit orders or market?
I start building my positions right from 9:15. पहले 5-10 seconds में मतलब जो फेयर प्राइस डिस्कवरी होना चाहिए वो 10 सेकंड छोड़ के मैं 9:15 10 सेकंड से मैं ट्रेड्स लेना शुरू कर देता हूँ. मैं पोजीशंस बिल्ड करना शुरू कर देता हूँ बिकॉज आई ट्रेड समवेयर अराउंड क्लोज टू अराउंड 180-200 लॉट्स तक जाता हूँ ऑन एन एक्सपायरी डे. सो एटलीस्ट मुझे 5-6 ट्रांचेस पे मुझे ऑर्डर्स को पंच करना पड़ता है. सो आई स्टार्ट बिल्डिंग फ्रॉम 9:15. डायरेक्टली मैं बिल्ड करना शुरू करता हूँ. प्रोबेबली आई विल बिल्ड अप टिल लाइक 9:25 तक मैं बिल्ड करता हूँ स्लो एंड स्टडीली.
Right. And mostly your orders, these orders would definitely be limit orders, right?
No.
Or do you place them market?
Yeah, I punch at market because Nifty पे expiry day पे liquidity काफी अच्छी रहती है. So you don't have to worry about bad slippages. I think the prices, okay, there will be like sudden delta movements के हिसाब से मतलब थोड़ा बहुत मतलब vary हो सकता है, but most of the time you get decent prices. So I don't think you need to. But limit order पे क्या होता है? Okay, most of the times you get the exact price what you want, but let's say I want to sell an option at 22 rupees. Call option को 22 rupees में मुझे sell करना है. Let's say the market suddenly tanks by 10 points, 15 points. So this 22 rupee option suddenly tanks to 18 rupees. You'll miss that price. Then you'll have to short at 18 rupees or 17 rupees. So whatever the 5 paise that you're going to save by keeping the limit orders for 100 trades, you'll lose all that edge in one single trade where that option just runs away from you.
Right.
You taught, personally I'm telling you, Praful, you taught me a very important thing today. Do not be penny wise and pound foolish. Or
Yeah,
rather,
I mean, over n number of trades. Yeah, Peter, I mean, over n number of trades, I think it all boils down to the same thing. I mean, you save 5 paise by keeping the limit order, and one day there will be a delta move, and you kept the limit order at 22 rupees, and suddenly you see that that call option is trading now at 17 rupees. So you have no other option but to chase that and short it at 17 rupees. So you have lost 5 rupees.
मेरा जब पहले करता था प्रफुल trades, and even for stop losses and all, I used to keep limit price. So वो निकलता नहीं था, फंस जाते थे. And similarly, while taking positions, I've seen this. Very true.
So Praful, I had one question. आप जैसे बोले कि you look for IV spikes while entering. So while you have taken position, तब भी like IV spike होते हैं. Like option sellers mostly they try to keep the delta neutral ताकि price से कुछ effect ना हो, time decay का मिले value. So what do you do like when such IV spikes happen when you're holding? So do you like delta neutral strategy को आप लगाते हैं? And we can explain to our audience क्या होता है delta neutral and how do you use that?
As I said, I average into the IV spikes. Whenever there is an IV spike, I try to go and, short additional quantities. But let's say I don't have any margin left to short further quantities.
Yeah.
Then you have to get that IV spike to cool off. That's it. उसके अलावा आपके पास कोई option नहीं है. What are we betting on? We are betting on the fact that these options have to melt by the end of the day. That's what we are betting on. ठीक है. Temporarily it might gain some value, but towards the end of the day they have to lose. तो IV spike एक ऐसे चीज है जो अनोइंग रिलेटिव्स होते हैं ना, वैसे आ गए घर बट कभी ना कभी उनको निकलना है, यहाँ पे सेटल तो नहीं होंगे ना.
Right, Praful. Praful, I have one question for you. Praful, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. I have one question for you. अभी आपने the Wednesday और Thursday आपने पोजीशन तो ले लिया, वो टाइम पे आप ऐसा कोई फंड्स रखता है क्या? लाइक मुझे एडजस्टमेंट के लिए लगेगा ये फंड्स, थोड़ा एडजस्टमेंट के लिए रखता हूँ, नहीं तो मार्केट में सडन मूवमेंट आया तो आप क्या करता है? आपका स्ट्रैडल पड़ा हुआ है, उसको एक तो एडजस्ट करना पड़ेगा, नहीं तो उसको एक साइड पे स्क्वायर ऑफ करके फुट को ऊपर लेके आना पड़ेगा, अप साइड जा रहा है तो हाउ यू एडजस्ट, हाउ यू मैनेज योर रिस्क?
Let's say the market starts tanking. Okay, let's say the market starts tanking and I'm sitting on a 100 and 200 points triangle. So I have two options. Either I can bring my calls closer, the winning leg closer, and take additional credit, or I can shift the losing leg away. In both the cases, I don't need additional margin. Only if you're taking additional risk. I mean, for example, calls को अगर आप पास लेके आ रहे हो, so basically the distance between your hedge and your short leg increases, right? For example, let's say you have shorted 17,500 call and a 17,300 put. For that, in order to get the margin benefit, you have shorted 18,000. I mean, you have bought 18,000 call as a hedge and let's say 16,800 put as a hedge. So the distance between the short leg and the hedge is 500 points. But let's say you want to push the winning leg closer. Let's say the market is tanking and instead of 17,500 call, you want to close that 17,500 call and shift it to 17,450. Now your hedge distance is almost 550 points away from the short distance. So this creates some amount of additional margin. एक per lot 1,000 rupees or 2,000 rupees additional margin हो जाता है. So when it comes to 200 lots or something, so you'll be needing somewhere around 2-3 lakhs extra margin. तो 2-3 lakhs तो buffer रहता ही है account पे. Because without that you can't do any adjustments. Adjustments आप कर ही नहीं सकते, आपको orders reject होना शुरू हो जाता है because of insufficient margin. So 2-3 lakhs तो मैं छोड़ना ही पड़ता है हमेशा.
Right. Now, before we move on, I've just a small disclaimer for our audience. See, whatever we are discussing here is completely for learning and knowledge purpose. And these are not any recommendations. Always, whenever you're trading, you should trade based on your risk appetite and your availability of your funds. This is and always backtest your strategy and invest. So this was the disclaimer. Now, one request to all of you: if you have any queries and doubts or any questions, you can DM me, Peter, Manas, right away, and we will ask your questions of the audience out here. Right? So, Peter, you had to you.
Yeah, Shankar, yes. So I think we have asked a lot of questions, and actually it is a very insightful Friday for me, Friday evening. So I learned a lot of from from Praful, and it's a new way of trading, only Wednesday and Thursday. Okay, great. So audience, if you have any questions, you can drop some messages to me, Shankar, and Manas. I think I don't have much questions. And Manas, if you have any questions, you can ask, or we'll go for a audience questions.
Now we can go for the audience questions.
Let's look at audience questions. By that time, I hope all of you are enjoying. If you are enjoying, and if you are enjoying, can you place a heart? Can you show us a heart or a clap? You can always do that. Like this. Yes. And what question? Any last advice to our audience, Praful?
I think it's just that like stay solvent. मतलब, obviously हम लोग while we are exploring strategies, we will be doing mistakes, we'll be losing some amount of money, but यही है कि just don't go bankrupt so that you don't have money to put in the markets again. So जो भी strategy मतलब explore करना है वो exploration से ही आती है. It's never like what I've seen is it's never like you find the right strategy. You keep eliminating the strategies which are not meant for you, because I personally know a lot of 100 plus strategies which generate a good alpha year on year. But the thing is that I cannot deploy all those 100 strategies because 99 of them are not suitable to me. So it's very important to choose the one which you can do for a longer period of time. So in this process पे, it's a process of elimination. It's not you just wake up one day and you say that okay, I'll be a trend follower, or I'll be an options buyer, or I'll be a positional directional option seller, something like that. You have to try everything out, and then you have to see okay, everything works, right? Option buyers also make money, option sellers also make money, positional people make money, future traders make money. People, there are people like who trade intraday stocks and they make money. At the end, there are a lot of strategies which done consistently over a longer period of time can generate decent alpha. It's just that we have to keep eliminating the stuff which don't suit our personality. So इस पे मतलब थोड़ा टाइम जाएगा. जो हमको सूट होगा उसको ढूंढने के लिए मतलब टाइम जाएगा. इट्स जस्ट लाइक करियर अपॉर्चुनिटी, राइट? मतलब हमको पता नहीं कि हमको बनना क्या है, तो वी एक्सप्लोर सो मेनी थिंग्स एंड फाइनली हाँ मुझे ये बनना है. तो सिमिलरली स्ट्रेटजी ऑल्सो लाइक दैट. सो हमें पता नहीं कि कौन सा स्ट्रेटजी हमें सूट करेगी, तो वी कीप डैबलिंग with different strategies, and at one point we say that okay bro, this resonates with my personality, and that is when you have to finalize that, refine that, tweak it, and then थोड़ा improvisations करके market dynamics के हिसाब से मतलब उसको change करके then you have to keep honing that strategy. So till that point we'll make a lot of mistakes, and in that early phase of the market exploration, try to stay solvent.
Praful,
Try to
Praful,
stay solvent.
Yeah, Praful,
I have got one question from the audience. Yeah, Peter.
Yeah,
I also had one
Praful.
question from
The
the
first
audience.
question is, per lakh, how many quantity to trade? This is a question from the audience. Yeah. So can you please answer this question, Praful?
Okay. I trade around 2 lots for 1 lakh. I know it's on a higher side. Usually people don't suggest that trade more than 1 lot per lakh or something. But I aggressively manage my risk without too much weightage on price action or without too much weightage on technicals or something. So since I aggressively manage my risk, I'm okay to trade 2 lots per lakh. So for example, if I'm trading with let's say 80 lakhs, 80 lakh, 90 lakh capital, I can go up till 160, 170, 180 lots on expiry. on expiry.
Okay. Yeah. The next question is, how do you monitor IV spike? And the follow up question is like, immediately आपको कोई बहुत बड़ा मूवमेंट आ गया मार्केट पे, आपको आप मैनेज कैसा करता है इतना इजीली, इतना फास्ट? हाउ यू मैनेज योर बिग पोजीशन?
बेसिकली आई हैव माय बास्केट सेटअप. तो जो भी मतलब रोल ओवर के लिए, स्ट्राइक्स रोल ओवर के लिए जो बास्केट होता है, वो बास्केट सेटअप हुआ रहता है. And I guesstimate the MTM losses that I'll be looking at if at all there is a sudden, like let's say within 1 minute, Nifty falls by 50 points. So what's gonna happen? So I have a guesstimate. So I'm okay with that thing. So a guesstimate हम कर सकते हैं by just by looking at the neighboring option price in the option chain. अब option chain देख के आपको पता चलता है कि let's say the market falls by 50 points. So what will be this current put option be trading at? It will be trading at the one strike closer ka value. For example, let's say 17300 put, for example, is trading at 20 rupees. 17350 put is trading at 28 rupees or something, 28 or 29 rupees. So if market falls suddenly by 50 points, this 20 rupee option will now be trading at 28 or 29 maximum.
Okay.
Correct. So similarly, I can guesstimate how much the other side has given me some amount of compensation, how much the call has given me the compensation. So based on that, I arrive at, okay, bro, अगर market 50 point भी immediately within 1 minute भी मतलब market 50 points tank हो जाएगा ना, तो मेरा mark to market maximum इतना loss हो सकता है, mark to market. So once you know that, once you have that guesstimate in your hand, you won't be like too anxious about the market movements. So yes, there will be times when market catches you off guard, but of course, like you have to just firefight. There's no other option but to firefight.
Right. So how you monitor the IV?
Praful?
Praful, you are on mute.
Okay, sorry. So let's say you're on a short straddle or on a short strangle, and आपका mark to market आपको दिख रहा है, right? For example, let's say there is no considerable movement in the market. मतलब market में कुछ delta realize नहीं हुआ है, मतलब market किसी भी direction पे move नहीं हुआ है, but still your mark to market is sliding down. So for example, let's say आपका mark to market 0 है, then after like 2 minutes or something, the mark to market is minus 5000, minus 6000, minus 10,000. But ऐसे नहीं कि market ने एक direction दिखाया है. Even though the market is in the range, your mark to market is losing. What does it mean? It means that both the options are gaining. So this is nothing but IB spike. The implied volatility of options, they are going higher. So this is IB spike. So you can just get whether the IV spike is there or not just by looking at your mark to market. If the mark to market is sliding down, going into the negative territory, you can say that you can fairly assume that okay, the IV spike is happening. I mean that's the simplest way to explain IV spike.
Yeah, great. So one more question. This is like, as a beginner, how you means when you started your journey as a trader, how you accumulated the capital, and he wants to know how, and he wants some suggestion from you, like if he's a beginner, how he have to accumulate the capital.
So I worked for almost 4 years. So
Okay.
I had my savings and I had zero debt and my materialistic needs are pretty minimum. So I don't buy stupid shit. So
Okay.
the capital was from my savings, and then slowly I started accumulating from my trading capital. I mean, trading gains also.
Okay. Right. Manav, do you have any other questions? There are a lot of questions,
Yes,
I
yes,
think.
yeah.
And
I also got a question from the audience. So, like, he is asking question directly to you, like, why doesn't Prabhul carry overnight short positions on Wednesdays? Since he has been carrying this triangle since 4 months and it is giving him good returns. So, like, why can't we carry overnight short positions on Wednesdays? Is his question.
I mean, absolutely we can carry. So, Abhi, see, I'm again like re-exploring my positional strategies, and I will be getting into some amount of positional trades with just like 10-15% of my capital exposure रखे मैं मतलब positional trades करने वाला हूँ. So Wednesday to Thursday, yes, it definitely offers a great risk reward. And आप जो भी मतलब triangle chart करता है, most of the times just right at the open you'll end up in profits. So there's nothing wrong about that. It's just that like I'm not very comfortable. जो मतलब जो भी मुझे returns चाहिए ना, तो मैं return generate कर रहा हूँ just by trading intraday on Wednesday and Thursday. तो मेजर मतलब मैं 2 दिन पे मतलब कर रहा हूँ. So as of now I don't find the need, but going forward probably Wednesdays and Thursdays might get tougher and tougher, so probably I might have to go back to positional. At least a part of my capital needs to be deployed in positional, so that way I'm quite fluidic about it. I'm not like I'm not very stringent. I'm not very hell bent on just playing intraday, just playing Wednesday Thursday ही मुझे करना है, ऐसे कुछ नहीं है. It's just that when something is working out, you don't want to take additional risk, additional headache, additional वो जो करना नहीं है. It's just my comfort level. That's it.
Okay. So one more question I got from audience is like it's related to like trading career choice. So like he asked like what do you think about choosing full-time trading over corporate job, and like what the time is right? Like he is able to make 30% over a year, so should he switch, or like what success he should think about?
Again, it depends on the base capital, right? For example, let's say someone has a savings of 10 lakhs and is making 30% is completely different than someone has having a savings of 1 crore and making 30%. Like two completely different things. So it depends on the base capital. You could be returning 500%, but if your capital is just 5 lakhs, or just like let's say if your capital is just 2 lakhs and you're returning 500% also, I don't think you'll be making substantial returns. Okay, over the course of 3 4 5 years, yes, that capital can accumulate, but what's the guarantee that you'll be returning consistently? Because पॉइंट ए टू पॉइंट बी जो जर्नी है वो हमको पता है कि पैसा बनेगा, बट वो जो बीच में जो ट्रफ्स आते हैं ना, दैट दे आर लाइक साइकोलॉजिकली वेरी चैलेंजिंग. फॉर एग्जांपल लेट्स से लाइक यू आर इन अ ड्रॉडाउन फॉर 2 months. So can you take that drawdown? Do you have to keep pulling money out of your trading account to pay your monthly bills? If that is the case, then probably I'd say, okay, bro, reach a point of reach that stage where you can say that, okay, bro, even if I don't make money on one particular month or couple of months, I don't have to worry about it. So the base capital matters. I mean, people say that हाँ भाई मतलब 10,000 से भी मतलब लोग करोड़पति बने हैं, but they're all statistical outliers. मतलब I know for every one Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, I know like 1 crore, 10 crore more people like who have lost everything in the markets, right? So they're all statistical outliers. So I try to align with the statistics, and I'd say that okay, if you have the base capital, a decent base capital, then probably yes, you can definitely take trading as a full-time career, because जैसे जैसे आपका skills बढ़ता जाएगा, I think sky is the limit here. So
प्रफुल, एक क्वेश्चन मेरे पास आया. The question is like related to what you just answered, but let's say someone is like 25 years old person. He wants to start up and take up and think of becoming a professional trader. So give me a roadmap, like how he should start, like how much capital he should ideally have to have a monthly income of 1 lakh. So how many months he should start saving? How much should be the capital, base capital, and how much should be the core capital, like that. So to earn 1 lakh per month, how much should he have, and what should be his path taking to his journey, basically. 25 years old person. Praful, you're on mute.
okay, so the first thing is I'm assuming that he doesn't have to pull out the money from his trading account for his monthly expenses or something, for paying the bills or something. So in that case, 1 lakh you have to, as a beginner, okay, as a beginner, your return expectation should be moderate. I would say around 2.5 to 3% per month. तो आप बैक कैलकुलेट करो, 3% आपको 1 लाख जनरेट करने के लिए आपको कम से कम 33 lakhs मिनिमम कैपिटल होना चाहिए. So this is I'm taking it on a very safer note, because as your return expectations increase, probably your risk also, you start taking higher risks, and once you start taking higher risks, then probably the time of drawdown also will increase. Probably you might go into drawdown, let's say, more often than not. You might end up making 40, 50, 60% per year, but probably you might go into a 10% drawdown 2 times a year, which is not a healthy sign. So मेरे को कैसा है, आई एम नॉट मोर फोकस्ड ऑन द पूरा ईयर में कितना बनेगा. आई एम मोर फोकस्ड ऑन द ग्रोथ ऑफ द इक्विटी कर्व. तो इक्विटी कर्व मुझे जितना स्मूथ होना चाहिए उतना मुझे स्मूथ होना चाहिए. So as a beginner, if you want to have that smooth equity curve, your return expectation should be lower. But if you want to have higher return expectations, then your equity curve won't be smooth. If your equity curve is not smooth, then you'd go through psychological थोड़ा मतलब psychological वो ये हो जाता है because you don't have any other source of income. तो अगर 2 महीना पैसे नहीं बना, 2.5 महीना पैसे नहीं बना, then you'll start deviating from your plan. You start मतलब you just go crazy, you just go insane, and you start doing all random shit, and that is kind of a spiral that you don't want to go into.
Right. So thank you, Praful, for your time. And thank you, Peter, Manas, for asking the questions, which was very relevant for many of us here. And thank you, all you lovely audience, for joining our FNOP Charcha. Please follow us and stay updated with the next FNOP Charcha or IPOP Charcha, which we keep on doing, we keep sharing here. Please attend them, upgrade yourself, and have a great weekend. Thank you, Praful, once again for coming here and sharing your insights with us.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Praful.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a great
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Shankha.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Peter.
Yeah.
Have a great